But if Jesus really did rise from the grave for you, what could be more important than that?
Okay.
What was your name?
Jacob.
Jacob. Nice to meet you, Jacob. Andrew.
He would like Oliver. Would you like to talk?
Nice to meet you, Jacob. How's it going, Oliver?
What do you think Christianity exactly means? Like, define Christianity of, like, is it like love thy neighbor, love yourself, love Jesus?
Well, Christianity, like Christians, it said they were first called Christians at Antioch, means little Christ, like followers of Christ. So I think a Christian is someone that follows Christ who follows Jesus.
Do you think Christians should follow the teachings of Jesus?
Of course.
Just sharing their stuff? You don't agree with the more conservative Christians who are more just bigoted? Like, you know,
Bigoted in what way? What do you think?
The more conservative people who use the teachings of Christ to further their racism, such as Nazis and stuff. You don't agree with them?
Well, the Nazis weren't Christians.
They weren't. They
No.
obviously weren't. They were Catholic, yeah.
Well, I mean, even Catholics would deny that. There's different questions about that. I'm not a Catholic. I'm a Christian. So for me, it's like, what does the Bible teach? You know, that's what I go off of. So there are many people that have been done horrible things that have named Christ, but it doesn't mean they were representing Christ. Just like you said, Oscar, right? Oliver, I'm sorry. Just like if I were to go over and push someone down and say, I'm doing this in Oliver's name, it doesn't mean that you told me to do it, right?
Yeah.
So in the same way, just because people do horrible things naming Jesus doesn't mean Jesus told them to do it. That's why I love the Bible so much. The Catholic Church kept the Bible out of the hands of the people for hundreds of years. It wasn't until Martin Luther and the Gutenberg Press that got the Bible into the common man's hand. And then you had William Tyndale that got it in English and different things like that. It's interesting history that people could read the Bible. And what's so amazing about it is I can read the Bible and say, is what that man, you know, that priest or pastor or whomever, or, you know, the random guy preaching at the U of A, is what he's saying in agreement with the Bible or is in disagreement? And so for me, I want to live my life in agreement with what the Bible says.
So would you say that Christianity and other religions can be used to just take money from the poor? Like I've been in.
Well, not true Christianity. So can people use the name Christian? Sure, people can do whatever, I mean, they can do those things, but it doesn't mean that's what Christianity represents.
Yeah. I mean, do you definitely feel like sometimes true Christianity can kind of be turned and twisted into just a donation to help the pastors and like mega churches and, you know, that bullshit? That can be bad?
I don't, I would agree that people can do that. I don't think that's true Christianity though. So people are I could name names, but yeah, I think that's horrible. I think it's a horrible thing when people use the name of Christ to get themselves rich off of that. Like they're exploiting Christian teaching so that they can be rich. Now, do I think that a pastor of a church deserves a salary? Absolutely, yeah. He's got to care for his wife and kids in his congregation. He's a therapist for his congregation or a counselor or a wedding counselor, you know, different things. Yeah, so he deserves a salary. But there are definitely people that abuse that and get private jets and say, sow your seed faith. And, you know, there's people that do horrible things naming Christ, but they're not following Christ when they do those things.
Would you say that, so say you get raped, would you say abortion is okay in that context?
No, that's what, there was some guys here, they had left. There's some guys here earlier. I would say in that situation, kill the rapist, don't kill the child. Because that child is an innocent party, and that woman's been through trauma, and more trauma won't help her. So her killing a child won't make her not a mother, it'll just make her the mother of a dead child that she's killed. And so I want to say that the best thing that you can do for her is to counsel her, to love her, to come alongside of her, to help her, to support her. If she chooses that she doesn't want to raise that child, which I can totally understand that a woman would make that choice, there's a waiting list 2 million long of families that will. And we give out actually sexual health resources for people that are in that situation.
What do you think that's going on in Palestine right now? Do you agree with Israel exactly and how?
That's a more complex political issue. I support God's people, the Jewish people. I worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It doesn't mean that I excuse anything and everything that the government does. But I also don't agree with people that say like, oh, Israel's committing genocide. Because Israel, the reason why I don't believe, good question. So the reason why I don't believe that is the IDF, the Israeli army, is one of the most powerful militaries in the world. They're very effective militarily. If they wanted to commit genocide, they could. They could wipe out every last man, woman, and child there. They're the only nation that has given out resources to people. Like never do you hear of a nation being at war sending food into that nation. Now, sadly, oftentimes when they send food in that nation, it's taken by Hamas, or well now the war by the grace of God, it looks like there's there's been a ceasefire.
Yes, but
Different things.
Israel already broke that ceasefire, and IDF soldiers have already started firing at civilians.
I don't know that that'd be the case. I'd have to, look at the news on that, and I'd have to look at the reasons why and all the stories behind it.
Do you genuinely think that Hamas is using civilians as meat shields?
Do I think? Well, whenever you build a organization beneath the shield, or whenever you put your base underneath a school or a hospital, you are necessarily doing that. So in the U.S., we have Davis-Monthan. We're not putting Davis-Monthan underneath Banner. I'm pointing to the direction of the Air Force Base. Like, we didn't put that Air Force Base underneath Banner University Medical Center. So whenever you put your military structure underneath a hospital, you are definitionally using it as a human shield.
Would you think that it's still okay to bomb said hospital with civilians inside of it?
I think that war gets complex. So I never want to intentionally kill a person, but I know that Israel, before they bomb a place, they will drop off pamphlets, they will send text messages saying, hey, get out of here, we are about to bomb it. And sadly, some of the people, they stay as kind of like an act of solidarity with it. I mean, the unfortunate thing is the situation in Hamas and Gaza is really complex because a lot of those children were raised being taught that the Jews were terrible, that they should be killed, and all those things. So it gets really complex. There's a lot of buzzwords and things that are going on in the news. Like, I don't want Palestinian children to die. I don't want Jewish children to die. I know if October 7th hadn't happened, where a lot of horrible atrocities were committed, Israel wouldn't have. The invasion of Israel that killed over 1,200 people, where people were raped, murdered, babies were put in ovens, those things.
Gaza or the West Bank and Hamas?
Not the West Bank. That was from Hamas. Hamas in Gaza.
Would you say Zionism itself is a fair ideology, like kicking out native Palestinians?
Well, the Jews lived there already as well. Again, it gets more complex.
The Jews lived in the Arab world for centuries, and they were
millennia, not centuries, millennia. And so that nation historically has always been Israel. It was under the control of the Ottoman Empire, and then it was under the control of the British Empire, and then after World War II, do you know how many Jews were killed during the Holocaust?
30 plus million.
6 million. 6 million.
Overall, that was the overall toll of the Holocaust.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, there's 6 million Jews killed during the Holocaust, and as a result, the Jewish people were given a nation where they could be a people, which is one of the biggest evidences for God. Do you believe in God? I asked your friend this, but...
No, not really.
Why not?
I'm definitely more of a science. I don't think there's not been any specific scientific evidence of God.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Big Bang was definitely, there's a lot of speculation behind that, but I don't think that's a specific evidence of there being God.
Oh, that definitely is.
But there also isn't specific evidence that the Big Bang happened. There's also been scientific studies that have showed that it's not just the Big Bang.
Uh-huh.
There could have been things other than the Big Bang that happened.
Yeah, but the leading belief, the leading theory is the Big Bang. So if you go off of what most scientists would point towards, you would see that. But I would also, I share the Big Bang with your friend. Let's look at another thing. Have you ever heard of it's called the teleological argument, the argument from design. Do you know what that is?
No, I've never heard of that.
So that's when we look at the fine-tuning of the universe, that it was all designed. So we got the sun. I'm feeling the heat from the sun right now. I should have brought a hat today. If we were just closer to the sun, we're all dead. If we're just further away, we're all dead. If there isn't a molten core in the earth creating a magnetic field around the earth protecting us from radiation, we're all dead. And I could go on and on and on, and more things than I know about. But the fine-tuning of the universe is so exact that it becomes ignorant to say that this happened without intelligence behind it. So just like if we were to see a building in the forest, you would see evidence of a designer. Just like if I were to see a fork created, it's like, okay, well, there's a design behind this fork. We can look at creation, things that have been created and made, and say, well, there was design behind this. And if you look at the universe objectively, you can say there was design behind this. And so I think that science can look at the evidence, but I think you often, at certain times, like if ever it's a historical science, we can't test it because it's already happened, right? So we have to look at the best conclusion based on the evidence that we see. And so I would say that the best conclusion based on the evidence we see is there was a creator. So then I think, well, does that creator want to know us? What are the hypotheses out there, namely the different world religions that are there? And I look at Christianity and I see it's the most historically backed and accurate religion that there is. And so that's what I would encourage you to look at.
Well, back to Zionism. Would you specifically say Zionism is good? Do you think that...
Well, define, what do you think Zionism is? Because different people have different definitions.
The settlement of Palestine to create an ethnic Jewish state for the Jewish homeland.
Do I support the creation of Israel? Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what percentage of Israel is currently Arabic?
Around 46%, something around there.
No, 20%. 20%. Do you know how those people live?
They live. A lot of them are discriminated against, especially in places like Tel Aviv.
Well, they live freely. They live free. Women have rights. They can drive cars. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, I think the woman couldn't even drive until what, 2008? I mean, it's absurd. So, I mean, you see ridiculous things here. Like you see people here that say gays for Palestine. Do you know what would happen to someone if they were homosexual in Palestine or in Gaza?
Well, there's already not much in Palestine. I don't think they'd be shot specifically. But
Well, they would be killed. I mean, they would throw them off the highest rooftop. That's what their laws call for.
very many
And so
rooftops. Have you seen pictures of Gaza?
I have.
Have you seen how it's all just rubble
Mm-hmm.
and there's dead children and families torn apart?
It's a horrible thing. War is a horrible thing.
And IDF soldiers sniping teenagers. Have you seen that video?
This is where I'd have to question you. Like, the problem is if you recruit teenagers and you give them guns, then those teenagers become warriors. I mean, they become fighters. Just like in World War II, you didn't have when people went off to war, there was U.S. citizens that lied about their age when they were 16 that said they were 17 so they could go off and fight war. At that point, they're soldiers. It's still tragic when a young person dies, just like in what's happening right now in Ukraine.
Like a Palestinian teenager playing ball with his friend, a soldier. Would you specifically consider that a soldier, just a kid playing with his friends?
I'd have to see the context of what you're referring to. So, I mean, I haven't seen that specific video, so it would be ignorant for me to speak on it. Like I said, I support Israel as a nation, but I don't wish death upon Palestinians. I want all people to come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ and what he's done for them. And so there's a lot of things I would warn you that the media is very geared against Israel, and I don't fall prey to what the media said.
I wouldn't really consider the media to be very against Israel. A lot of
It is very
has
against
been
Israel.
funded by AIPAC. Have you heard of AIPAC?
I have.
Just a bunch of money going to all the politicians that support Israel. I feel like if Israel was fundamentally good, why would they need to give?
I didn't say Israel is fundamentally good.
I don't like if Israel is great, why would?
I didn't say Israel is great. But I said I do support Israel's right to exist as a nation. I don't think that everything the U.S. has done has been good. I think if you look at our history, you'll see our hands are stained with blood. But in the same way that if we were invaded, I would support our right to attack the invaders, I support Israel's right to attack its invaders and ensure it doesn't happen again. So we may not see eye to eye in this. What I would encourage you is that YouTube can make everyone an expert, but it can also make everyone very ignorant. And so there's a lot of people that hear certain things and they think like, oh, well, now they believe this horrible things, just like it's been, I mean, it's incompetent to say Israel is committing genocide in Palestine. It's incompetent, literally incompetent, because if they wanted to, they could. So you could say they're committing atrocity, you can make that argument, you can make those cases, but that's not the reality. They could. I mean, they have the physical, I don't think they should. I'm saying that they have the physical ability to. So I don't think you understand what I'm saying, Vivian.
Health Organization and the UN is saying there's level 5 famine.
Oh, I don't care what the UN or the World Health Organization says. Those organizations are some of the most corrupt organizations there are. So I don't care what they say. Do you know what? The UN has made more injunctions against the state of Israel than almost all of the nations combined. I mean, the UN as an institution is a globalist network with the idea of uniting people under one government. So I don't support the UN.
Specifically it's not globalist. It's not specifically globalist.
It's definitely globalist.
It's like the EU. It wants to bring nations together.
Which is, right, the UN wants to establish a globalist network. So I don't support the UN in their goal to do that. So it's, for me, I look at facts and reality. I don't care what these organizations say. I care what's true, what's real. So again, I'm not saying I support every action that the Israeli government has committed, but I do support their right to exist as a nation.
I think I'll hand somebody else off the mic.
Sounds good. It was nice talking with you, Oliver, right? Yes. And I would encourage you, Jesus really did die for you. So what I always encourage people to point to is the cross. Because if he didn't rise from the grave, Christianity is pointless. But if he did, there's nothing more important than that, Oliver. Take care. Take care.